And in addition to that, we're also backfilling some of these cuts with the federal stimulus money that we're receiving. The mayor's office has estimated that the city will receive approximately $4 billion in expense funding from the federal fiscal stimulus and $1 billion in capital funding over the next several years. Thus far, the city has been allocated $261 million in capital for shovel-ready projects, which will go toward 25 projects already designated, totaling $1 billion and creating or preserving 32,000 jobs. And all of this is on top of hundreds of millions of dollars in tax-exempt financing that the federal government is making available to us to issue through the stimulus program. It's our expectation that we'll be able to deploy these bonds for a variety of different developments in a variety of different industries across the city of New York. And this leads me to the second part of the mayor's recovery plan, which involves diversifying our economy to create jobs for tomorrow. We are, of course, working hard to maintain New York City's position as the world's financial services capital. And to this end, we've released a couple of months ago an 11-point plan that's designed to do just that. But we also understand that we have to develop counter-cyclical industries here in New York so that the next time Wall Street suffers a decline, the city's fiscal condition will be better insulated. For example, we're looking at bioscience, in which New York City does very well on two ends of the spectrum. On the one hand, we are a great headquarters city, with Pfizer, Bristol-Myers Squibb, Forest Laboratories, and other companies all calling New York City their home. And on the other hand, we do very well with basic science. New York City is the #2 recipient of NIH funding among cities in the United States. And every year, our 9 academic research institutions turn out somewhere between 20 and 30 new businesses. But what's happened over the last several years is that almost every one of these new businesses has ended up going somewhere else. We undertook a rigorous examination of why this occurs, and what we found was that the fundamental issue that the city faced was its paucity of commercial lab space, where businesses could turn basic ideas into viable businesses. And in response to that, we have made substantial investments on a number of fronts. One example is right here in Brooklyn, in Sunset Park, where we're working on a project that we call BioBat. This project, which is being developed in conjunction with SUNY Downstate Medical Center and the state of New York, aims to create 500,000 square feet of commercial lab space at the Brooklyn Army Terminal. We're happy to report that we have already welcomed our first tenant to this facility, IAVI, which is now occupying about 40,000 square feet of lab space. IAVI is one of the world's leading institutions seeking a vaccine against the AIDS virus and is bringing great science today to the Brooklyn waterfront. In addition, if you drive down the FDR Drive in Manhattan, you can see rising just north of Bellevue what will eventually become a 1.1 million square foot facility called the East River Science Park. The city has put about $20 million into this project, and it thereby has induced a private sector developer, Alexandria Real Estate, to put in what will eventually amount to $700 million in private funds. The first phase of this project, a 300,000 square foot lab building, topped out last year, and we expect it to be open for business in 2010. Another industry that we're seeking to expand is manufacturing and distribution, much of which occurs along our city's waterfront. For instance, at Atlantic Basin in Red Hook, again here in Brooklyn, we just signed a 20-year lease with Phoenix Beverages, which is investing nearly $4 million in capital to create a distribution facility there. This project will allow the company to transport their goods via water directly into Brooklyn, eliminating 20,000 truck trips per year. Phoenix has also agreed as part of the move to convert the entirety of its vehicle fleet to cleaner alternative fuels, adding to the environmental benefits of this project. In addition, Phoenix's move is expected to create 100 new jobs and retain 500 highly paid, mostly unionized jobs, which previously were located in Long Island City and Queens, but were at risk of being moved to New Jersey. Beyond our initiatives in bioscience and manufacturing and distribution, we're also working to expand New York's footprint in a number of other industries. These include media, green technology, higher education, general entrepreneurship, and the arts. And we expect to have very specific sets of initiatives on each of these fronts to announce in the coming months. And this brings me to the last part of the 5-borough economic opportunity plan, which involves building affordable and attractive neighborhoods. This is especially important because we all know that quality of life is not just a catchy campaign phrase. It's also fundamentally sound economic development policy for the city. For as we have seen, it is only by maintaining the city's quality of life that we are able to attract and retain our greatest natural resource, smart and motivated people. To that end, we are using money allocated as part of the stimulus package to develop and improve commercial districts in the neighborhoods throughout the city, and in Brooklyn in particular. One example is in Bedford-Stuyvesant, where we will invest $9 million to complete a streetscape project that's designed to increase consumer traffic in this heavily congested commercial district and to attract new businesses. When the project is complete, Fulton Street from Clawson Avenue to Troy Avenue and Nostrand Avenue from Halsey Street to Atlantic Avenue will boast new sidewalks, reconstructed curbs, and new streetlights. In downtown Brooklyn, just outside our door, we'll use $3.5 million in federal stimulus dollars to create a more pedestrian-friendly atmosphere along Flatbush Avenue, one of Brooklyn's primary gateways, by constructing elevated medians and pedestrian crosswalks, as well as installing new streetlights. In addition to these neighborhood commercial projects, we have several area-wide developments that we're also undertaking. Among our most important is, again, right here in Brooklyn, Coney Island. This neighborhood is not just a great Brooklyn icon, but is also home to 50,000 people, many of whom are desperately poor, live in public housing, and have some of the longest commutes and highest unemployment rates of any residents here in the city. As part of our effort to build upon Coney Island's long and storied history, we've introduced a comprehensive plan for this area, which consists of, among other things, a 27-acre entertainment and amusement district, including a 9-acre mapped park, 500,000 square feet of new retail, 4,500 units of new housing, 20% of which are to be affordable, as well as new infrastructure. We estimate that this project will create 25,000 construction jobs and 6,000 permanent jobs as it is built out. Our plans have been approved by the local community board and the Brooklyn Borough President's Office and are slated to come before the City Council in August. Meanwhile, we're pleased to report that this project has also received $15 million in federal stimulus funding, which will go towards rebuilding portions of the Coney Island Boardwalk. So I started these remarks with a little bit of history, and I just want to end with a little bit of history. Let's look back again, but this time to the Great Depression. This period in time was far worse than anything that we're going through now. National unemployment hit 25%. 40% of national banks failed. The stock market lost nearly 90% of its value. But there were also people who had the courage to continue to push forward, to keep building, and to keep investing. And the evidence of their forward thinking remains to this day. Rockefeller Center, the Empire State Building, the Triborough Bridge, all of these icons that define our city today were built during the Great Depression. And this should be an inspiration to us. For as tough as times are now, and there's no question that they are extremely tough for many people, New York has been through worse. As long as we keep focused on the future, make the essential decisions and investments that need to be made, we not only will get through this downturn, but we will come out in a better and stronger place. We are confident that we will get there. And when we do, we will all look back at this period, not as a period of inexorable decline, but simply as one of transition to the next era of New York's greatness. Thank you.